Ukraine has just entered the center of the Strait of Hormuz crisis with a move that changes Iran's calculations. What seemed like almost inescapable pressure on ships, oil, American bases, and energy routes is now starting to receive an unexpected response. Ukrainian technology, real war experience, and a defense network set up precisely against the kind of threat that Tehran uses the most. This Friday, April 24, 2026, this movement gained momentum with the arrival of Volodymyr Zelensky in Saudi Arabia, as Kyiv offers help to restore free navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. I'll tell you all about that in a moment, but right now you'll want to be subscribed to the channel to stay well informed with real-time information in the best journalistic quality you've ever seen, following the Milson Alves standard of credibility. The main fact is straightforward. Ukraine, a nation that spent years fighting Iranian drones used by Russia, now appears in the Middle East offering the Gulf practical protection against pressure from Iran itself. This protection starts in the sky with anti-drone systems and extends to the sea with experience in mined routes, naval drones, and mine-hunting ships. The target is not small. Hormuz is one of the most important passages on the planet through which huge volumes of oil and gas pass. When Iran threatens this route, it doesn't just threaten its neighbors. It threatens energy prices, global trade, and the stability of several nations at the same time. Iran has always tried to turn the Strait of Hormuz into a pressure point. Tehran's logic is simple. If the regime feels cornered, it threatens ships, oil tankers, American bases, and maritime insurers. You don't need to shut everything down to cause damage. Just create fear. It's enough to raise the possibility of mines, drones, fast boats, or precision attacks. On such a sensitive route, risk already becomes a cost. That's where Ukraine's involvement matters. Kyiv knows what it's like to face mass drone attacks. They know what it's like dealing with cheap equipment trying to break through costly defenses. They know what it's like to operate in a war of attrition, where every minute counts and where the response needs to be fast, cheap, and precise. This experience grew out of Ukrainian cities, moved through the Black Sea, and is now reaching the Gulf. The first part of this new barrier is at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. This base is a vital point for United States operations in the Middle East. According to Reuters, Ukrainian military personnel were sent to train American forces in the use of SkyMap, a command and control platform created to detect drones. The technology is being used after Iranian attacks in the region, and the report itself points out that Washington turned to Ukrainian experience to protect an important base against threats coming from Iran. This detail reveals a silent shift. For decades, the world looked to the United States as the main provider of protection for the Gulf. Now, in the midst of the crisis, American soldiers are receiving training from a force that has learned in practice how to shoot down cheap, persistent, and dangerous drones. This is not a symbolic exchange. It's a direct response to the new kind of warfare. Iran has bet on drone swarms, low-cost attacks, and saturation attacks. Ukraine responds with sensors, data integration, artificial intelligence, interceptor drones, and quick response command. The strength of this system lies in how it reduces surprise. Low-flying drones can evade traditional radars. They can approach through difficult routes. They can appear in waves trying to confuse the defense. The Ukrainian proposal is to spread sensors, cross-check information, recognize sound and visual patterns, and deliver a quick assessment of the threat to the command center. The enemy drone stops being just a lost dot in the sky and starts being tracked by a network. This network calculates the route, speed, and probable target. From there, the defense can respond before the attack turns into destruction. For Iran, this is a huge problem. Tehran's strength has always been in exploiting gaps. Cheap drones, mines, speedboats, and proxies work better when the other side takes a long time to react. When the response becomes cheaper and faster, blackmail loses its strength. Ukraine is not just selling equipment. It is exporting a method of survival. A method created under bombardment, adjusted on the battlefield, and tested against weapons that are directly linked to the Iranian strategy. The news reports also point to a network of acoustic sensors as part of this change. The idea is to use a large listening network to detect drones by the sound of their engines, especially when they fly too low for conventional radars. This technology addresses a reality that Ukraine knows well. The Shahed is not just a weapon, it's a tool of psychological pressure. It comes cheaply, makes noise, triggers alerts, wears down defenses, and tries to pave the way for greater damage. When a network is able to detect, identify, and track this kind of threat, it takes away one of the attacker's greatest advantages, the element of surprise. The European movement reinforces this interpretation. Italy has announced that it is ready to send up to 4 ships, including 2 mine hunters, for an international mission in the Strait of Hormuz. The head of the Italian Navy stated that this operation would be carried out within a coalition with other nations, including the United Kingdom, France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. The mission was discussed after increased pressure on navigation in the region, showing that mine clearance and maritime security have become international priorities. In this context, Ukraine's mine hunting fleet becomes more relevant. Ukraine received and began operating ships such as Cherkasy, Chernihiv, Mariupol, and Melitopol with support from European allies. There are also plans to reinforce with an Alkmaar-class vessel from the Netherlands, which will increase Ukraine's mine warfare capabilities. These ships are not for display. They are used to locate underwater threats, support safe routes, and reduce the power of maritime blockades. This is the part that bothers Moscow and Tehran at the same time. Russia tried to use the war to weaken Ukraine. Iran helped Moscow with drone technology. But the unexpected consequence was something else. Ukraine learned how to fight exactly this threat and is now starting to sell this experience to the Middle East. What was supposed to crush Kyiv ended up helping Kyiv create a more aggressive, adaptable, and valued defense industry. The agreements with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates point to a new regional security architecture. It's not just about buying and selling equipment. It's training, joint production, knowledge transfer, system integration, and building a defense designed for real threats. Breaking Defense reported that Ukraine signed defense agreements with Qatar and Saudi Arabia, as well as the United Arab Emirates. This was followed by a move linked to the Gulf's interest in technology tested against Iranian drones. That's why Iran can't easily prevent this change. It can threaten, it can try to intimidate, it can step up its rhetoric, but it can't erase the experience that Ukraine has accumulated. It can't prevent the Gulf from buying technology. It can't prevent the United States from testing Ukrainian solutions. It can't prevent Europeans from discussing mine hunters for Hormuz. And it can't prevent its own drone strategy from being studied, copied, and neutralized by those who have suffered the most from it. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and at the end, check out the comments so you can be even more engaged with the Milson Alves community. Amen.